Hare Krishna. We're now going to read a very exciting part of the Bhagavad Gita, and that is the 14th chapter. I'm going to do something similar to what I did in the 11th chapter, and that was actually go through quite a few verses because this chapter is so rich and it's so relevant that we really can't afford to miss anything out. So bear with me. I'm starting at the 6th verse for those of you who have your Bhagavad Gitas in front of you, and I'm sure most of you do. Here it is, Bhagavad Gita as it is. And in the first 5 verses, Krishna has given an introduction, and he's speaking about something extremely relevant to those who are seekers of the truth. And part of the truth that we've come to realize in the first 13 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita is that we want to become self-realized. We want to become liberated. But why? And the answer is because we're bound. You can say we're fallen. We are in this world, we're tied down to this world, and we've come here, and now through the practice of yoga, and whether someone starts with karma yoga or jnana yoga or ashtanga yoga and then bhakti yoga, we're trying to actually reestablish ourselves. We're trying to liberate ourselves. What are we trying to liberate ourselves from? If you're in jail, obviously you need to know how to get out, and that's by good conduct. But how did we get in here? And exactly what are the confines of this jail that we find ourselves in? Because we are confined. And of course, spiritual life starts with that. It starts with the realization that I've got a problem. So Krishna explains, yes, your problem is that you came into this world. In this world that we are in, we are bound. Really, are we bound? Well, yes. And Krishna begins, and he's beginning with the 5th verse, and let me just read the Sanskrit. He says, Sattvam rajas tama iti guna prakriti shambhava nibadnati mahabaho dehi dehinam avyayam. Material nature, this is where we are, consists of 3 modes. This is a very interesting word. 3 modes means 3 aspects, 3 ropes. Goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity, it's us, comes in contact with this nature, he becomes conditioned by these modes. So Krishna is saying, when we come into this world, we become conditioned by the modes of nature. And we become affected, influenced by the modes. And Krishna says that these influences are threefold: goodness, passion, and ignorance. What's it about? Okay, here Krishna continues. This is verse 6. He says, O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reaction. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. So Krishna starts with goodness, and now let me just qualify this in that there are 2 types of goodness. There's goodness in the realm of transcendence, and there's the goodness that Krishna is speaking about here, which is the goodness of this material world that we're in. So you can be good here, but from the absolute point of view, it's still not good enough. So, but what is the benefit of this goodness? Well, it says that a life based on goodness, when someone is living in goodness, and we've already discussed some of those topics earlier, you become free from past sinful reaction. You become free from karma. Good karma, bad karma, proper conduct according to the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, conduct according to the teachings of the Vedic literature, how to live in this world, eat in this world, and we've discussed these things. So it frees one from past karma. But, and of course, in order to be situated in goodness, you have to know the science. But here Krishna says the trappings of this goodness is, in other words, how you become bound, even by goodness, is that one becomes satisfied by one's knowledge. One is situated in knowledge, he lives in a right way, and the result of a right life is happiness. And when you're happy, you think, well, everything's going well. And things are going well because one is living in harmony with the world around them. And therefore, from the material point of view, there's a good flow taking place. But not everyone's in goodness. So let's read about the other two modes, or the other two ropes, or the other two influences. And of course, these are invisible influences, but these influences are there. Now, he says, Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sanga samudbhavam tad nimadnati konteya karma samgena dehinam. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. And because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive action. So what is the characteristic of this mode of passion? Unlimited desires and longings. I want this, I want that, buy me this, buy me that. It has to be bigger, it has to be faster, it has to be nicer, it has to feel better, it has to be newer, it has to be in vogue. There's no end. It just goes on and on and on. That is the mode of passion. And satisfying those unlimited longings is what is being in the mode of passion. In the mode of goodness, the desires may be there, but those desires that are contrary to the teachings of the Vedas, to the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, those desires I do not fulfill. And the desires which are acceptable, I fulfill them in a very religious way, in a good way. And that's goodness. In passion, just get out of my way. Whatever it takes, I'm going to do this. I don't care whether someone else has to suffer. I don't care even if in the future I have to suffer. I'm going to take drugs, I'm going to drink alcohol, I'm going to smoke. That's what it's all about. So that is the mode of passion. And the result of that is you become more bound by your karma. You're breaking the laws of karma, you're bound by the karma, laws of karma. And that's what passion is. Goodness, you become free from karma. Passion, you become bound by karma and ignorance. O son of Bharata, that's Arjuna, know that the mode of goodness born of ignorance is the delusion of embodied living entities. The results of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which binds the conditioned soul. A meaningless life. Passion means that one has a purpose. What's my purpose? My purpose is economic development. It's satisfying my senses. But ignorance becomes without purpose, especially when we live in this world of intoxication. People become purposeless, who become addicts, who become dependent. So ignorance is the same way. When people have no real purpose in life, when they're just machines functioning without any real goal, and yet at the same time, of course, they're not following the proper rules of Dharma, but they're acting against the way of the world, then without any clear idea, then that is the mode of ignorance. So it is the delusion of embodied living entities. And now Krishna summarizes this. He says, goodness, the result of goodness is that what is the conditioning? What is the effect of living like that? Even the effect of living a good life is that you become conditioned to happiness because you're getting the right result. Passion, you become conditioned to enjoying the fruits of your activities. And ignorance is that one knowledge is covered and one binds one to madness. So that's it for today. And tomorrow we're going to talk about where do people go? What is their destination when they die in the different modes? They don't all go to the same place. Very exciting. See you then. Hare Krishna.